Hey, how are y'all doing tonight? This is Vats Impossible, and right now I'm in Mexico City, and I'm going to be flying to El Salvador. We actually have a really cool VATSIM event that's taking place right now on flights from Mexico City to El Salvador. The As you can tell, the time right now is not live because if it was live, it would be pitch black darkness, and you wouldn't be able to see any of the scenery or the other liveries or all the cool stuff. So the time, I set the time to a different time, but the weather that you see is 100% live. And there is a VATSIM event that's happening right here in Mexico City. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to have a good time going from Mexico City to El Salvador. And once again, I'm on the Viva airline. I know technically it's also called Viva Aerobus. Looks like we got a couple Air France flights close to us, which is really neat. And let's just get back in the cockpit and let me turn on the fly pad here. I got my co-pilot Eli Manning here. He's hanging out, and we're gonna just go ahead and get started. So let's do it. Okay. All right. All right. Turn on those navs. Fuel pumps on. Okay. Go ahead and turn up some floodlights while these displays come on. I'm going to try to get us going as quickly as we can since this is a little bit later at night than I normally fly. Let's see here. Okay. All right. And we're going to go ahead and run that APU fire test. Okay. Floodlights are up. I'm going to go to the fly pad and just import some stuff. Yep. And we're going to do boarding and refueling. I'm going to just really quickly get this MCDU ready to go. I'd love to hear how you guys are doing, how your night's going so far. And if anybody's out there who's doing this VATSIM event, I'd love to hear how that experience is going for you, in case you're doing that. MMMX. And also, if you want to follow my flight, you can go to VATSIM Radar and just type in the flight information that I have at the top of the screen. MSLP, okay. Flight number, today we're Viva, alright, 4811. Cost index right now is, I think we're going to go 40. And our cruise flight level is going to be 37,000. And let me open up Navigraph on my iPad because it's kind of important to just check and see what runway you're probably taking off on. Okay, based on the winds right now and the most recent weather info, I think we're going to be on 05 left with the TVOS 2 Alpha.
Fuel truck is in position.
Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and open up that cabin door and just kind of make sure GSX is working. Let's take a look outside really quick. Alright, we are currently boarding. Alright, we should be getting some fuel in just a moment. Okay, let's get back in the cockpit for a second.
Please use your airplane fuel system to set the
Okay,
desired
config
quantity.
fuel. Alright, and then while we're getting fueled up, I'm going to take a quick look at frequencies here. Looks like we got, well, we do have tower, so that's important. I don't know which tower though. Shoot. I'm just going to go with the one at the top. It's just... Okay.
Tower Air France 179.
Para México, Volaris 441. Para México, Volaris 441. Volaris 441.
And I'm gonna write out my clearance really quick.
Únicamente para ver si me confirmaba transmisión. Tengo un tráfico por detrás que se conectó, correcto. Volaris 441. Tenía un tráfico por delante de usted, pero ya se desconectó. Está autorizado a aterrizar. Autorizado a aterrizar 5 derecha, Volaris 441. Volaris 441, frustrado. Volaris 441, contacte salidas México 121, decimal 2. 21-2, Volaris 441.
Okay, let me check what information we have with the ATIS.
Tower Air France 179, ready to
Okay,
check.
it's Echo. So I'm just writing out this clearance.
179, good evening, go ahead.
Information Echo for clearance to Paris Charles de Gaulle.
Air France 179, please step by.
Okay, alright, so I've written out my clearance because we're going to need to do that verbally in just a second since we're outside of the US.
Papa Echo Echo, Papa 17.
Mexico Tower, this is Deep 17, ILS 05 right.
Deep 17, good evening, runway 05 right.
Alright, we're still
Wind
getting
calm,
fuel, that's
clear.
okay.
05 right, clear land, Deep 17.
I'm going to just write down some waypoints because there's plenty of those on this flight, I can tell you.
Speed beer 24 Bravo, runway 05 left, welcome, clear to take off. When airborne, contact Mexico Cruise 121, decimal.
Clear to take off Seabird 34 Bravo, and once in the air, I'll contact 121.2. Have a good night.
Good day.
I don't know what it is about international flights, but they have tons of waypoints. Whereas domestic flights in the US, there's not as many.
Air France 179, ready to go.
Ready to copy Air France 179. Air France 179, ready to copy.
Air France 179 there, clear to Lima Foxtrot Papa Golf via Eakland over Tango 140, Tango Alpha Mike, Venus 5. Climb via Eakland to Alpha, departure to flight level 2990, runway 05 left, and squawk 3267.
Cleared off 05 left, Equa 2 Alpha, Equa in transition, and then climb by the Equa 2 Alpha to 290, squawk 3267, Air France 179.
Air France 179, air request correct, callback 1 ready for pushback restart.
Call you back for push and start to Air France 179.
Alright, so I've written down some waypoints. Let's see if we've got all of our fuel. It looks like we do. Perfect. Now it's time to just go ahead and input our flight plan. We've got a few different waypoints we need to put in. Okay. Right, Okubi. Right.
Pip 17, welcome to Mexico City, continue taxi via Golf, Delta, Echo, gate at your discretion.
Delta to the gate at my discretion for 617.
Okay. Okay, let's see. TECUN. Okay, we're almost there, guys. Sorry for the
Y Torre México del Viva 1104, seguimos pendientes para autorización.
Viva 1104, una disculpa, está autorizado al aeropuerto de Mérida vía Noxos, Supertango 155 a Bali, resto plan. Hacienda vía Noxos 3 Alfa para nivel de vuelo 290, pista 05 izquierda y código transpondedor 4277.
Muchas gracias, autorizados a Mérida vía Noxos, Super Tango 155 a Bali, resto plan, el ascenso vía Noxos 3 Alfa, nivel de vuelo 290, pista 05 izquierda y respondemos en 4277, Viva 1104.
Viva 1104, colación correcta, arranque remolque, notifique cuando listo el arranque remolque.
Llamaremos listos para arranque remolque, Viva 1104.
Okay. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. Got that flight plan done. Let's go to the init fuel page. Really quickly, we're going to send some more fuel data. We're going to look at the wind speed. Positive 19, got a tailwind. Love it. Absolutely love it. Alright. Performance. This is going to be a flaps 1 takeoff. Let's do our performance speed calculator really quick. Okay. Perfect. And let's go ahead and put in our QNH. Alright. Here we go. So now I'm going to call for clearance. Mexico City Tower, hello, this is Viva 4811 Airbus A320 at stand 31. We have information Echo on board, QNH 3029. Request IFR clearance to El Salvador International.
Viva 4811, clear to Mike Sierra Lima Papa via Tebo, Super Tango 113, Gares, Juliet 13, Tango Alpha Papa, Upper Alpha 317. Tunnel, climb via Tebo to Alpha departure to flight level 290, runway 05 left, and squawk 0, correction 3263.
Cleared to El Salvador via the TiVo 2 Tango departure. Expect runway 05 left. Initial climb flight level 290, squawk 3263 for Viva 4811.
Viva 4811, your departure is Tebo 2 Alpha, runway 05 left.
Oh, sorry. Departure TiVo 2 Alpha for Viva 4811.
Viva 4811, read pass correct, call back when ready for push back and stop.
Call when ready for push. Thank you, Viva 4811. Okay. There we go. So, thankfully, it is the departure that we were expecting, so I'll take that. And let's just go ahead and put in some of the info that he gave us. So we're going to go all the way up to 290 because don't forget, Mexico City is actually at a higher elevation than Denver, which is a strange fact. A lot of people forget that. The air is very thin when landing, believe me, I've tried it. So we've got our squawk, we've put our squawk in. We're going to go ahead and start our APU.
And Air France 179, ready for pushback and startup, stand 22, information echo.
Now let's take a look outside.
Air France 179, push back and start is approved, call back when ready for taxi.
Go back ready for taxi, Air France 179.
This is going to be fun. Let's take a look at the back of the plane here. Yeah, that APU. Starting to get hot. Alright. We are almost ready. APU should be available in just a moment. And then we're going to get ready for push. Okay, there we go. APU bleed, turn it on. Turn off, disconnect external power, beacon lights on, strobe lights auto. And then I'm going to talk to GSX and tell it that we're ready for pushback.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
I'm also going to take a look at the airport chart just to make sure I've got a feel for where we are.
441 final 5 izquierda.
Polaris 441, pista 05 izquierda, viento calmo, autorizado a aterrizar.
Autorizado a aterrizar 5 izquierda, Polaris 441.
Departure checks complete. Bypass being inset.
Mexico City Tower, Viva 4811 is ready for pushback.
Viva 4811, pushback and start is approved, and call back when ready for taxi.
Push approved, call when ready for taxi, Viva 4811.
Locking gear.
That's exactly what I was hoping to hear. Okay, so I'm going to kind of open up our Phoenix options here, because we're going to need them in just a second.
From Mexico, Polaris 441.
Alright, we're going to go tail left.
¿Cuál es tu último reporte en la Ciudad de México de vientos?
Polaris 441, viento 130 grados, 3 nudos.
Yeah!
El último
We're
reporte
rolling.
viento para Polaris 44.
mountains around Mexico City are just absolutely unbelievable. I actually have flown into this airport with a friend before, and it's a fun experience to see nothing but beautiful buildings right up until the moment you land. Some airports are kind of remote and farther away from the city, so when you land it's not that big a deal. You don't see a lot of the city, but in Mexico City you are completely and totally surrounded by the city when you land, which is amazing. It just looks really neat. It's one of the coolest approaches out there. Okay, so engine 2 should be available in just a moment. Alright, start up engine 1. Hey, we got a Volaris landing there, that's cool. That was a good landing.
Please set parking brakes.
Okay.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Alright, engine 1's gonna boot up. And in the meantime, I'm gonna make sure that we're ready for taxi.
México, Volaris 441, abandona 5 izquierda, Charlie 2.
Volaris 441, bienvenido a México. Continúa el rodaje vía Charlie 2, Bravo a plataforma. Buenas noches.
Charlie 2, Bravo a plataforma, Volaris 441, buenas noches, hasta luego.
Alright, engine 1 is available, so we're going to put our ignition switch back to middle. And we're going to turn off APU bleed, turn off APU master. We're going to arm speed brakes, flaps 2. Runway turn off lights on, takeoff lights. We're gonna nose lights to taxi. Alright, we're going to call for taxi in a minute. Mexico City Tower, Viva 4811 is ready for taxi.
And Tower, Air France 179, also ready for taxi.
Hey France 179, runway 05 left, taxi via correction. QNH 30 decimal 29er, taxi via Bravo, and hold short runway 05 left.
Bravo, hold short 05 left, and 3029er, Air France 179.
Mexico City Tower, Viva 4811 is ready for taxi.
Viva 4811, you ready for pushback or taxi?
Ready for taxi, Viva 4811.
Viva 4811, runway 05 left, QNH 30 decimal 29er, taxi via Bravo, and hold short runway 05 left.
Taxi to runway 05 left, QNH 3029er, taxi via Bravo, and then hold short 05 left, Viva 4811.
Volaris 441, mantenga antes Bravo 7.
Okay. Alright, so we're going to take Bravo all the way down, which
Caray, ¿cuál es
makes
Bravo 7?
sense.
Venimos por Bravo.
I know this taxiway a little bit because I've done a few flights out of Mexico City. So,
Estamos enfrente de un Viva que viene de las posiciones sí, como de las posiciones de veintitantos. Mantenemos posición por secuencia.
Volaris 441, afirmativo, a la presente mantenga posición. Sea el paso al tráfico que está por delante de usted, el tipo 320 de la misma compañía Viva.
Sí, mantenemos posición a la presente posición por tráfico como número 1 en la secuencia y nosotros que tenemos como número 2 en secuencia por Volaris 44.
Alright, we're going to turn right on Bravo. We're just going to keep taxiing until we get to the entry point for runway 05 left. It's pretty typical taxi road in Mexico City. In fact, in real life, as a passenger, I've landed on that runway in real life, not as a pilot, but as a passenger, and it's a really fun airport to land in. Cool.
Se le ganas hacerle y se presenta al aeropuerto.
No hay mucho tráfico aquí. ¿Ya vamos a continuar rodaje o qué?
Volaris 441, afirmativo, continúe el rodaje, siga el tráfico de la compañía Vivo en tipo 320.
Debido seguimos tráfico como número 2 en secuencia Volaris 441.
Okay. So because he didn't give us a specific holding point, we're going to go all the way to the end of this taxiway. We're going to go all the way to the end of Bravo before we get on the runway. In fact, my buddy up
Miguel,
here,
¿estás asesorando a Daniela como asesor?
this Air France flight, he's going to be right ahead of us, so...
Sí, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Quién eres?
De salud, no.
Air France 179, hold short 5 left, fully ready.
Air France 179, runway 05 left, wind comes, clear for takeoff, one airborne contact Mexico approach 121, decimal 2.
Clear for takeoff, sir, 5 left, one airborne 1212, Air France 179.
Alright, so we're right behind this Air France flight. He's already cleared for takeoff, so he's going to get fully configured for takeoff. He's going to line up on the runway, and we're going to hold here. In the meantime, we're going to get ready to take off. Do some housekeeping items here. I like his plane. That's nice. And there he goes. There he goes again.
Traffic.
Mexico City Tower, Viva 4811 is holding short runway 05 left.
Viva 4811, runway 05 left, line up and wait.
Runway 05 left, line up and wait. Viva 4811. Okay. While we're moving, I'm gonna check and see what the approach frequency is above us. 121.2, okay. So we're gonna do what the man said, and
Viva 4811, runway 05 left, welcome, clear for takeoff. When airborne, contact Mexico approach 121 decimal.
Runway 05 left, clear for takeoff. When airborne, contact Mexico City approach on 121.2. Thank you, Viva 4811. Alright guys, the moment's arrived. Let's do it. Well, the good news is we have plenty of runway. Goodness gracious. Go. Positive rate of climb, gear up. Lever climb is flashing. We're going to reduce throttle to climb. We're approaching S speed, but we're going to go ahead and get on our departure frequency here. We're going to get to S speed pretty quickly. Or green dot speed. Wait, hold on. Actually, I guess those are two different things, S speed and green dot. Okay. Lab 0. And we're gonna talk to approach.
Air France 179er Chevy, proceed direct Tampico, Tango Alpha Mike.
Correct. Tango Alpha Mike, Air France 179.
Mexico City departure, hello, this is Viva 4811. I am off runway 05 left, passing 9,600, climbing flight level 290, inbound Mike X-ray 800.
Viva 4811, Mexico departures, good evening, radar contact, climb unrestricted, flight level 290.
Climb unrestricted at flight level 290, Viva 4811. That's what I like to hear. Alright, let's turn off landing lights here. Turn these lights off. Disarm spoilers. Let's take a look outside. It's a nice day. I backed up the time quite a bit so that way we could see all the scenery and stuff, but this weather is absolutely the weather is exactly what it is right now.
Hawaiian Niner 32 Heavy. 7 mile final runway 05 right. Racers terminated. Contact tower 118.55.
1855, we'll see you, Hawaiian 932 Heavy.
See ya. Pico 021, 8 millas final, pista 05 derecho, servicio radar terminado, contacto torre en 118.55, buenas noches. Viva 4811, contact Mexico Control 126.6, good day. Negative 126.6.
Oh, sorry, 126.6, Viva 4811.
Correct, see ya. Air France 179er Heavy, contact Mexico Control on 126.6, good day.
126.6, Air France 179, have a good night.
All aircraft in this frequency, Mexico approach is closing, monitor 122.8, correction, contact 126.6. Todas las estaciones en esta frecuencia, aproximación México cerrando operaciones, monitoreen, contacten Centro México en 126.6, buenas noches.
Mexico says we'll be stepping away. Mexico is stepping away for 2 minutes. Centro México regresará en 2 minutos.
Okay, so Mexico Control is online. We're going to see how much longer they're online because the VATSIM event closes pretty quickly here, but let's see. Delta 1011 says hello. Hello to you. Good to have you on the stream, man. Glad you could join. Alright. Mexico Control, hello, this is Viva 4811. I am passing flight level 227, climbing flight level 290, inbound Uloto.
Center steps away for a bit.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Delta 1011 says you've been getting lots of snow lately.
5 minutes, about 2 minutes ago.
Hey, yeah, because you're a New Yorker, right? You're up in New York. Yeah, you guys get some major snow. New York's, there's regular snow, and then there's, like, upstate New York snow.
Centro México, Volaris 5152.
Volaris Centro México, comenta que en unos 2 minutos regresa.
Recibido, gracias, muy amable.
You guys have a foot on the ground of snow? Dang, man, that's wild.
México.
Yo soy tráfico, soy
Yeah, I mean,
Bravo Quebec Kilo,
I didn't grow up with a lot of blizzards, but the ones that did hit, it's crazy how quickly that snow accumulates. I love those YouTube videos where you can see a time lapse of snow just swallowing up people's lawn chairs and like all their outdoor furniture. My brother used to live in Laramie, Wyoming, and he would send pictures of the snow they would get up in Laramie. It was crazy. Right now we have an interesting situation playing out on VATSIM because I think Mexico Control has stepped away for a bit, but there's an event happening, so there's all these guys checking in. It's kind of a... It's fun to watch, though. The scenery in Mexico is nice, though. I like this a lot. We're going to be flying over a lot of Mexico, then we're going to enter into Guatemala and El Salvador shortly after that. And yes, I know that in real life it's technically dark right now in these places, but I put it on daytime so you can see the cool stuff.
Gracias.
The amount of waypoints in Mexico is incredible.
Mexico City traffic, Hawaiian 932 heavy is short of 5 left on Foxtrot crossing, 5 left and taxing gate 25 via Bravo, Mexico City.
I think that guy just said hooah. Is that Al Pacino? Hooah? Hooah! Al Pacino invented a new word when he invented hooah. It was previously not a word. It's still not a word, to be honest. I've added a stat bar to my videos, and so I'd love to hear anybody's feedback on whether that stat bar is working right or not. So, I mean, so far it's been pretty reliable. I added it in through Streamlabs OBS, and something I got this thing from flightsim.to where it'll keep track of stats and stuff. Mexico. Love it. Me gusta. I'm gonna see if Mexico Control is still online. That's kind of an important detail right about now. Yeah, it still is. It's still up, so. Huh. Okay.
Oye, Mexico sends back on frequency, Centro México de regreso. Quack 001 cambia a 22.8, buenas noches. Ex Bravo, Bravo Quebec Kilo, cambia 22 decimal 8, buenas noches.
22 decimal 8 para Bravo Quebec Kilo, México Centro, será más tiempo aquí para ver si puedo hacer el radial.
Air France 179er, climb and maintain flight level 410.
For Air France 179, can we stop our climb? We do 370 for our final right now.
Air France 179, climb and maintain flight level 370.
370 Air France 179.
Bueno, es 146, rueda plataforma, muy buenas noches. Perdón, está aterrizando.
I don't know what he said, but I agree.
Mexico Center, Speedbird 24 Bravo. May I switch to Unicom?
Centro México, Volaris 5152.
Speedbird 248 Bravo, switch to 22 decimal 8, have a good day.
122.8, Speedbird 24 Bravo. Brett, buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Viva 4811, ascienda y mantenga nivel de buenos. Sorry, Viva 4811, climb and maintain flight 370.
Climb and maintain flight level 370. Gracias, Viva 4811.
Mexico Central Hawaii 932
Okay,
is on Bravo.
so that's what I wanted to hear. We're gonna go up to 370.
Right now.
It's our cruise for the
Hawaii
flight.
932, taxi to Bravo to the gate, enjoy the rest of your day.
Bravo to the gate, yeah, Hawaii 932 heavy.
First of all, I
Listo,
just
rodar Viva 1104.
Viva 1104, pista 05, izquierda, rodea vía Bravo.
Pista 5 izquierda, vía Bravo, Viva 1104.
Centro México, Volaris 5152.
all of these VATSIM controllers that do their stuff in 2 different languages, that is amazing. Like, can I just say, like, to anybody watching who's in VATSIM, it is incredible to see these guys do this in 2 different languages. It's really cool.
México, Volaris 5152.
Sí, Volaris 5152. Una disculpa, tengo un desmadre aquí en la casa, pero prosiga.
Buenas noches, caballeros. Nos encontramos en México, Fuerza 27, Terminal 1. Listo, que plan de vuelo a la ciudad de Guadalajara.
Volaris 5152 está autorizado al aeropuerto de Guadalajara vía Ovago 3 Alfa, pista 05 izquierda, Ovago, Unión Tango 123 Dixon, llegada a Guadalajara. Haciendo vía Ovago 3 Alfa, nivel 360, código 4233.
Bien, autorizados Guadalajara vía Ovago, Frutal 123 Dixon, salida Ovago 3 Alfa, 5 izquierda, ascenso vía Ovago 3 Alfa para 360 y código 4233, Volaris 5152.
Volaris 5152, colación correcta, arranque, remolque aprobado, llame listo a rodar.
Colación correcta, arranque, remolque aprobado, llame listo a rodar, 5 izquierda, Volaris 5152.
Centro México, buenas noches. Aquí X-Ray Bravo Tango Yankee en el aeropuerto de Cuernavaca. Solicita autorización BFR al aeropuerto de Toluca.
Pendiente, espere un par de minutos, manténgame escucha.
Gracias.
Centro México, buenas noches, vuelo 303, no listo, copiar, prende vuelo Cancún.
Pendientes, mantengan la escucha.
Mexico Center, Cathay 284.
Cathay 284, heavy clear for the others, Yankee 5 right approach.
We're cleared Yankee 5 right. Could you confirm it's 5 right for Cathay 284?
Yes, 5 right.
Okay.
Are you set up with something else?
No, I was just making sure. I missed the last part there.
Okay.
En el centro México Viva 1104, antes pista 5 izquierda, listo al despegue.
Viva 1104, pista 05 izquierda, viento a la presencia. No tengo información de viento, pero 05 izquierda aportada para despegar, reporte en el aire en esta frecuencia.
Vamos a despegar pista 05 izquierda y reportaremos en el aire en esta frecuencia Viva 1104.
Cathay 284, cleared to land 5 right.
Clear to land 5 right, Cathay 284.
Bravo, tengo Yankee. Más para confirmar, está volando visual, ¿correcto?
Es correcto.
Tengo Yankee recibido. Pista 2 o pista 2-0. Y cuando estén listos, radio vía Bravo, ir a esa pista y hacer backtrack y ya me listo en cabecera para el despegue. Código 1265.
Código transponder 1265. Rodaje a pista 20. X-Ray Bravo tengo Yankee.
Y Viva Volaris 3031 confirmando, me está llamando para actualización de plan de vuelo.
Contigo estamos listos a acompañar el plan de vuelo Cancún.
Volaris 3031 autorizada a Cancún vía Noxus 3 Alfa, pista 05 izquierda, Noxus Unión Tango 155, Edura, resto plan de vuelo. Hacienda vía Noxus 3 Alfa, nivel 370, código 4265.
Estamos autorizados al aeropuerto de Cancún, vía salida Noxus 3 Alfa, Noxus Supertango 155, resto plan de vuelo. Ascenso Noxus 3 Alfa, nivel de vuelo 370 y activamos código 4265, Volaris 3031.
Volaris 3031 con la 5 correcto, ya me listo arranque y remolque.
Llamamos listos arranque y remolque, Volaris 3031, gracias.
Cathay 284 heavy going around.
Cathay 284, fly the Polish West, climbing in 1000.
1000, Cathay 284, and the reason is very unstable.
Say that again.
The reason was very unstable.
Roger.
Tengo Yankee, listo, rodar pista 2-1.
Tengo Yankee, como lo había indicado. Red vía Bravo, ingresa a pista, hacer backtrack, 180 en cabecera.
Gracias.
Centro México, viva 1104, dejando 8000 más 800 en ascenso vía Noxus 3 Alfa.
Viva 1104, México está en contacto, radar, asignación y restricción nivel 370.
Ascenso sin restricción, nivel 370, viva 1104.
Centro México, la línea 5 nosotros estamos autorizados para un kilómetro correcto.
Es correcto.
Gracias, muy vale.
Cafe 284 Heavy, cleared ILS Yankee, 5 red approach.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Cleared ILS Yankee, 5 red approach, Cathay 3 red.
Tengo Yankee, fuera pista 2-1.
Tengo Yankee, pista 2-1, autorizada para despegar. Notifique 10 millas del campo.
Autorizada a despegar, notifique 10 millas del campo, tengo Yankee.
Air France 179, leave Maestro to the north, monitoring center offline, radar services terminated, frequency change approved.
Over to Unicom.
Yeah.
México, Volaris 5252, listo a rodar 5 izquierda en Bravo.
Volaris 3031, pista 05 izquierda, rodea Bravo.
Vía Bravo, Volaris 5152.
Volaris 3031, estamos listos a retroceso y entendido.
Volaris 3031, recibido pendiente y pasando un tráfico, me apruebo en la arranque remolque.
Será, muchas gracias, Volaris 3031.
Centro México, Volaris 5152.
Volaris 5152, confirmando que demo.
Afirmativo, si no es problema, el Volaris que está en terminal, que está en arranque y remolque, sin problema puede iniciar su secuencia y continuamos como número 2.
Bueno, está bien, mantenga presente posición Volaris 5152, break Volaris 3031, arranque remolque aprobado y administrado a rodar.
Autorizos al arranque remolque, llamamos listos a rodar Volaris 3031.
Viva, mantenemos posición Volaris 5152.
Viva 4811, correction, Viva 48411, Viva Racing to the east, sending offline, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
Frequency change approved, over to Unicom. Thank you so much for staying up late with us. Viva 4811.
Absolutely.
Alright, well, I guess I'm going over to Unicom, as the man said, and yeah, if I can just get my radio to cooperate. Alright, know I can do this, come on. Okay. And that's that. Alright guys, I'm gonna start getting prepped for our descent in just a few minutes. Before we do that, let's just go ahead and go to the MCDU. I've got some weather information I need to put in before we get to El Salvador. Looks like our QNH is 2986 and temperature 24 degrees Celsius. And winds variable at 1. Let's take a look at the rest of this. Okay. Alright, so 5,000 should be my number on the right, and 1,200 should be my number on the left. Alright, and that should be about it for now. Looks like we're kind of making our turn onto yeah, we're getting pretty close to our star for flight, so I'm gonna check the altitude chart here, see what we need to do. Okay, so localizer, I'm gonna go, we need to be at about 5,000 feet soon, followed by 2,500. Alright, we're going down to 5,000. Let's do it. We need to be at 5,000 by BOR, so let me take a look at the radar, make sure that I've got that dialed in correctly. Yep, it's looking about right. Here we go. Only about 80 miles away. Should be there pretty quickly. Based on the estimate I'm seeing, we should be arriving in El Salvador in about 10 minutes. Alright guys, as you can see from the stat bar at the top, we're only about 5 miles away from the airport. We're going to enter into the ILS-Y procedure for runway 25. I'm going to take a quick look and see if there's any other traffic in the vicinity. Doesn't look like there is. It looks like it's just me, so I don't think there's going to be a problem, but before we land I am going to just send out some... I'm just going to let the people know that I'm on my way in. Okay. So the funny part about this ILS is that we actually fly over the airport before we land, which, I mean, it's not super uncommon. You see that at a lot of airports, but so you can actually see the El Salvador International Airport right below us that we're flying over. So that's neat. And we're going to be landing on that runway in just a few minutes. And then, okay, so we're going to get down to 2,500 feet here. Okay, and we need to be at 2,500 by the Delta 91 Kilo waypoint, according to the chart that I have. And that blue line right here is going to tell me the plane's estimate for how quickly I'll get down to the altitude I want to get to. And let's see here. Okay. Alright. So we're going to get down to 2,500 feet. And alright. If you could just sit right here, buddy. So, I know. Yeah. Okay. Alright, we're about to land. Take a look at the checklist here. I think we're definitely within 20 miles of the airport, so I can turn my localizer on. It's kind of important when you're doing an ILS. The scenery is really cool. Got some great mountains and maybe a couple volcanoes here in the vicinity in El Salvador. So the landing should be very pretty. Not to mention you've got the ocean off on the right side there. Okay. Alright. If anybody's got any landing advice, I'll take it. Just as long as the advice is not that I go around, because I hate doing go-arounds. Not that anyone likes doing go-arounds. Real-life pilots don't like doing go-arounds. Nobody does. I still remember doing a flight over Germany where the guy was telling me to go around, and it just sounded like "go round," and so I just politely was like, "What is go round?" And he said, "Go around." And I thought, oh man, so how to do a go around in Germany. It's fascinating. Okay, 2,500 feet. Alright. Well, we're right on schedule. And the ILS is sort of catching up with us here, which is exactly what you want to see in this situation. I think I'm going to fly the rest of this ILS approach manually just for fun. For one thing, the conditions, as you can see, are beautifully clear. There's blue sky out the window. We don't have a bunch of fog. We don't have a bunch of haze. We don't have storm clouds in the vicinity. So this is the perfect time to just kind of take the controls and do this the old-fashioned way. And turn on a couple of lights that we'll need when we get on the ground. And let's just disconnect autopilot, and have some fun with this. Gonna try to stay level here. As you can see, we're only about 10 miles away from the airport, so this shouldn't take very long. I know I always say that. And if it wasn't for my vertical speed indicator, I would have no idea how to keep this thing relatively level. I don't know how pilots did it before we had vertical speed indicators.
Terrain ahead. Pull up. Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Yeah, it's letting me know about that volcano
ahead.
right
Pull
there.
Up. Terrain ahead. Pull up. Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Don't you just love those warnings? It's great. It's like, yes, I see the giant volcano ahead of me. Got some beautiful views of some of the outskirts of the town here. Just gonna follow this all the way in. El Salvador traffic, Viva 4811 is 5 miles out from establishing on the ILS for runway 25. El Salvador traffic. Okay, so we're gonna decrease our radar range to 10. And, okay. Yes, I am aware. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at where our flaps are. We could probably afford to go flaps 2. And, yeah. And on top of that, we could afford to definitely take a little bit of a left turn. Put our landing gear down. Flaps 3. Flaps 4. Yes, I know. I can see the winds have changed because even though we were scheduled to land on 2.5, it looks like we got a tiny bit of a tailwind. I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem though. It's only about 9 knots and we're still up at about 2,500 feet, so by the time we get down to sea level, that wind should die down to almost calm, maybe variable with 1 knot. Probably be more likely. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the nose, get a little bit of my altitude back. I'm gonna make sure that our flaps are on 4 because that's very important in the situation. Beautiful weather. First time landing in El Salvador. I've never done this before. And you're probably like, yes, I can see that by the way you're doing this approach. But this is the first time. Very pretty. Reminds me of landing in Peru. Kind of some similarities. Beautiful mountains. Rolling hills. It's nice. Also, by the way, guys, thank you so much for getting to 200 subscribers. I really appreciate that. If you're enjoying the channel, please like and subscribe. And I will keep cranking out flights just like this if you want to see more. And I try to go all over the place. My goal is to do flights to every single country on the planet in 4K for you. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. El Salvador traffic, Viva 4811 is about to land on runway 25, 3 nautical miles out. Okay, I'm going to pull my nose up just a little bit, get some of that altitude back. Want to make sure I'm not too low on the approach. I don't want to be too high either. The poppies become more helpful the closer you get, so now that I'm able to kind of see the poppies, it kind of gives me a little bit more of a reference for where I'm at. I'd almost rather be a little bit above that ink diamond than below it.
400.
Beautiful scenery here, this is amazing.
300.
Okay. Alright guys. So now I'm mainly just sort of focusing on the runway, focusing on the poppies.
$100.
Okay.
50, 40, 30, 20. Retard.
And we're done. Gonna try to take the first available exit. Welcome to El Salvador, my friends. Bienvenidos. It's a little quiet at the airport because the VATSIM event has kind of died down, but it is nice. We're just gonna go pick a gate. El Salvador traffic, Viva 4811 is clear of runway 25, El Salvador traffic. Okay, I can tell the rendering engine on the game is struggling a little bit with some of the gates, so we'll try to go to the ones that are less buggy, I guess. See what happens if we pull into this gate. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna do a couple things I should have done earlier. Bring our flaps up, disarm spoilers. We turn off lights off, landing lights off, strobe lights auto. And we're gonna. I'm actually gonna also gonna start the APU too. Probably important. Okay, and let's take a look outside and see if we can pull into our spot. We made it! All the way from Mexico City. How about that? Okay. Well, guys, this is the end of our journey. I hope you've had a great time watching the flight. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you, and thank you again for getting me to 200 subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. I love the fact that you guys are just as into aviation as I am, and there's much more to come. So if I don't catch you first, Merry Christmas, guys.